national soccer teams. I mean, it's a very good school.
Division 3 soccer champs.
Oh, thanks for the English to Hebrew translation.
Like that right on the fly.
Yeah, I was confused what Messiah meant.
Right on the fly.
I wasn't sure. I was back and forth.
The two-state solution Jews, it starts in Israel, Norm. You can't, it's not like it starts on the Upper West Side. It started in Israel.
I understand.
So, you can't be holier than the Pope.
I don't get your point.
My point is that they're taking the cues from Israelis. The two-state solution thing didn't start on the Upper West Side. It started with Israelis.
Which I've shared with you, and on which I've changed since October 7th, that how are we going to have dominion over a couple of million Palestinians? How are we going to do that?
Right.
And there's no real answer for that.
Well, there are multiple answers.
Well, I mean, short of expulsion or something.
No. Well, one is very simple.
Sort of expulsion.
Expel the 300,000 jihadist radicals, and then you're left with 1.7 million people who are, who can be part of the society. That's one. Another is a confederation where they are citizens of Jordan, citizens of Egypt. I don't know. I mean, yes, Shuki would have the most extreme situation, but unfortunately I don't see the mechanics of doing it, So those are some thoughts, but there are multiple ways. I just laid out 2 or 3, It is a challenge, but it beats the alternative. The alternative is to have a Palestinian homeland in Gaza and Judea Samaria that is constantly at war with Israel, that's being run by Iran, that has rockets all over, tunnels constantly being dug. I mean, that is the worst case. That's worse than any of the other ones. Because it's not going to be, they won't agree to the terms that Israel has put out there, which is a demilitarized state with monitoring systems. They took one agreement. They want a state that they can wage war from. And that's where we're in this conundrum. Hey, come on in. We'll sit right behind you when you come in. Thanks. Have a seat. I'll talk to you in a few minutes.
Well, I think it's very difficult when you have a liberal society with liberal neighbors, right? And of course, with liberal people that want to come into the state. I mean, you can't. A liberal society where you have gay rights, individual rights, and religious freedom.
Go ahead, Scott. I'm leaving you.
And what you would think of as normal, right, in the West. I mean, not normal globally because most societies probably are not Western liberal by our standards. But when you've got a society
Hello?
you can't bring in
Hello?
massive illiberal
Hello?
people, right, and still have a
Hello?
liberal democracy. You just can't have that.
Hello?
It's not
Hello?
gonna fly.
Hello?
I mean, one advantage America has with our border, and we can debate the southern border and how secure it should be, how permeable it should be. But the people that come through the southern border and love America, they want to be more here than Americans. They want to work for jobs. They're mostly Roman Catholic. They want to be married. They don't want to be married. They want to be more American than the average American. They actually been given. That works, right? That revitalizes their society in some ways because you've got people that get the DNA of the host country and they want to sort of build it. I think it's very difficult when you have a different immigration sort of dynamic, which I think Europe has struggled with, right? I mean, Europe has brought in folks from the liberal countries that don't understand free speech and don't understand things. You do a satire of the prophet and you get stabs. This is the hard thing. Adam, welcome. How are you, sir? mean, if you want to have a liberal society, if you don't have a liberal society, well, then you don't need
This is a good book. Notes. What do you call it? Notes on a liberal
that.
society.
Large swords and understanding of culture. And then he has another one. Sometimes in the same book is the idea of a Christian society. Sometimes you get them both in the same. It's Mr. Jeff, the great Mr. Jeff. I liked when he became Mr. Jeff, like Mr. T. Mr. Jeff was. Here comes Mr. Jeff, the great Mr. Jeff. Jeff, I'm trying to bring you up. Anybody else bring Jeff up? I can't bring him up. I'm hitting him.
Sure, let me
Oh,
try.
there he is. There he is. Hey, Jeff. Mr. Jeff.
What an introduction. Hello.
One of the greats of Clubhouse. One of the all-time Clubhouse great personalities. How are you?
And in fact, I earned my moniker Mr. Jeff legitimately. It wasn't self-imposed. The great scholar Sino imparted it on me. So how you been, Scott? I want you to come up and say hi.
I'm good, buddy. I'm good, buddy. I don't see as many of your isn't this sort of where the DSA folks are here? Is this
Yeah, it is, and that's sort of like literally
decades of
yeah, like they didn't learn from 60 million dead between the Soviet Union and China. Like socialism just doesn't work. Parts of it do, like the Nordic countries have got a pretty interesting take on, applying it around social services, but not the, eliminating the ownership of the means of production or making the means of production state-run.
I think the height of Reagan's victory, right, was when it was the Clinton presidency, right? When your opposition takes on your mantle, right? When Clinton says, there, okay, the government is welfare reform. Clinton had his own version of Doge, right, which was actually successful. I mean, if you believe in that kind of government efficiency, it's successful. That is the Reaganite winning, right? Saying, like, look, he's running to embrace us. Now, I don't think any Democrat would do that, right? I mean, no Democrat would fashion themselves after Reagan or Clinton. I mean, in fact, Clinton now, I think among mainstream Democrats is looked at as the betrayal, right? The one that let the fox into the henhouse.
You mean the guy that allowed conservative ideology to infect the second term?
Yes, and by most accounts, I mean, look, I think if you're a sort of non-ideological person, you look at that and say, this is success, right? I mean, you wind up with a two-term presidency that I think most people, again, they're not overly look at Clinton is relatively successful, right? It was good. It's a good 8 years.
Well, this is the difference between him and Obama. Obama doubled down when he got the message, when he got his shellacking in the midterms, when he got his message that the country wanted a bit of moderation. So then he pulled out his pen and his phone and responded with executive orders. I think, at least he said he was.
Yeah. And he didn't have the partners that Clinton had. I don't think he had Clinton's capacity to reach across the aisle, their hands across the aisle. I mean, Clinton had things Obama didn't have.
Clinton was much more experienced politician, like much more. And maybe also had a broader vision.
No, I think community organizers, that's a very political position. You know, I think
At a very low level. Like
very large wealth of information.
But Obama, though, for Obamacare, he did. I mean, look, he did not come at the Republicans with a left-wing program, right? And he took something that was originally a Heritage Foundation idea, right? This was what Hillary was thinking, a more single-payer healthcare reform under Clinton's presidency. The Heritage Foundation floated the nascent, Obamacare, which became Romneycare, which then became Obamacare. So that was, and Obama did offer, asked Republicans for a lot of help and suggestions, and they just didn't want to do it. I mean, but it did not. I mean, I don't think Obamacare was a left-wing policy, right? I mean, it was a sort of centrist, in some ways center-right, right? I mean, the big critique of it, I think, would be it was a blowjob to the insurance companies, right? I mean, to get some concessions from the insurance companies, you go to the store, right? To get sort of no precondition, pre-existing condition bias and stuff like that. I mean, this is not a sort of kind of left-wing, and I think the left would have wanted something different, right? And I don't think anybody on the left is excited for Obamacare, right? I mean, people would want much more, either Medicare for all or single payer or something like that.
Well, this is the thing about the Federated Republic idea, that there's really broadly contrasting opinions from state to state. And so that's where you got things like what Hillary was saying, or by the way, what Obama said, that he's just essentially not interested in the people clutching their Bibles and guns. Or in the case of Hillary, the sexist, homophobic, Islamophobe, that sort of...
What he said though was when people get anxious, some people tend to cling to their Bibles and their guns. And he's not wrong about that. It's just, you can't say that shit. People feel condescended when you say that shit.
Well, it is condescending.
Yes, and the left, it does. I mean, look, this is the left. We are condescending. I think people, this is one of the reasons I think Trump, why so many on the right, so many evangelicals and folks in the middle of the country love Trump, because he punches back against condescending elitism, right? He's a one-man wrecking ball to that stuff.
I agree. I think the left has this notion of moral superiority in terms of their opinions are more refined, better, and more enlightened than conservatives.
Are condescending all the time, right? It's only
Really principle.
the only condescension we're worried about though is condescension that right-wingers dislike. So a prime example of this is Vivek Ramaswamy over Thanksgiving. He says white people spend too much time focused on sports and not enough time focused But I'm just
I don't
making I'm just making the point that it's only a certain sort of condescension that is viewed as.
Well, one is a presidential candidate who eventually won, and one is a guy that most people couldn't even pronounce.
I mean, Trump is very condescending to cities, right? To people who live in cities.
How is he condescending?
He says that cities are hellholes.
Haven't heard him say that.
You've never heard it. You've never heard.
Yeah,
him
no, I
say
never
cities are
said that.
hellholes.
Yeah.
Hello?
You know what? Adam,
Hello? Hello?
Cities are hellholes.
It's time
I think I want to do. I know what I want to do.
allowing the quietness of spirit to come in. Feel the blood flowing through your arms and legs, through your body and mind. Relaxing, relaxing, relaxing. Take a deep breath. Hold it as long